This game right here is my favorite game that I've ever seen.
Players are in the lobby.
The
Sound
guy to the left, we all know, right? He has been banned.
All is quiet, all is calm in the booth. When the studio fans
Banned
are
for
going crazy life. He's one more win to tie this up.
Stream actually made a comeback recently.
The map is loaded, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay wonderful.
Thank you very much, dude. You're too kind.
That looked cool. That was sick. To the bottom right, we do have the player winning last game pretty convincingly. It is KT Life.
KT.
Like you said, no smiles until he gets another win.
3 wins, man. He needs to kill this nerd if he wants to smile again.
Up to the top right in blue. Cream the Manor Mueller.
He did it once.
Thank
He's
you,
forever-
Remington, for the
forever
$5.
The Manor Mueller.
He is the Manor Mueller.
Bad
I was like,
manner.
wasn't that Bomber? Didn't he do that a lot? I'm like, no. It's
Oh,
true.
yeah, man. There was some.
He did it once in a semi.
I'm pretty sure this is like. I'm pretty sure this is the best game ever, right?
And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we
this
will
is
see
it,
season
guys.
first
I
because
remember
I'd
this
be very
game.
surprised if we see
Like this has
otherwise.
been, this has forever been
Yeah, it's a freebie
etched
base.
into my mind.
Backdoor base that is, yeah. Pretty much unkillable with it.
Now, this is Heart of the
Last
Swarm,
turn, I think we will
not
also
Legacy
see
of the Void.
Hatch first, greediness, lots and lots of greed. And look at that Overlord scouting. He's going to see everything. The moment that CC goes down, he's going to see it, and Life's going to go for a very fast third hatchery.
Very old school shot.
It's gonna be just pretty straight up. Like, are you a magician or are you just a Grandmaster Zerg on Korea? Like, it's just happening exactly like you said, man. Where's your crystal ball?
Ah, yeah, this is also back when you had like in-base
Is it-
expansions
is it-
sometimes.
Is he actually going to get a pool before hatcheries? The next question.
What year
I wanna
is it?
know. Is he going to get double hatch before pool?
What year
I'd love
was
to see it.
this?
We've seen him do it before.
Well, you know, we've already seen Dream be so
This
good at running
was
aggressive
2015.
play, but
Oh, it is. It's going to be double hatch before pool. And he did this. He did this against someone on Catalina
just recently.
just recently, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago.
Moonglade
Crushed him with
and
it.
Was it Cure?
It might
Wolf.
have been actually.
I think it might have been Cure.
All I remember was that evil smile that Life had when he did it.
back when you used to go
Remember it was
double
sick.
hatch
I might even
before
recall
pool,
it, I can't
guys.
remember.
Yeah, he might have been.
Double hatch before pool.
But okay.
When
well,
Reapers weren't as
like you
strong as
said,
they are now.
Everything just coming down step by step here.
Cannot
bit
go
of a
double hatch
slower
before pool
roll up
against
into
current
this
Reapers because they
sort of,
will burn.
Early game here.
They will roast your drones.
That's kind of how Nimbus goes to start
Yeah.
things off because of the freebie base.
Exactly. It's that pocket base that's going to give you so much time and protection. You don't really have to worry about too much on this map.
What do you think about this map in general? Are you what are you feeling about it? I mean, do you think it's a good map? Do you want it removed? I mean, for next season, for example.
I don't like where the 4th base is. Would be my biggest
Yeah, actually,
concern
they
as a
opened
Zerg
Marine
player.
and not Reaper.
If I was purely looking at a Zerg, and I mean, it does favor
Yeah,
Terran
this
maybe
is-
a little too much
This
as
is the
well,
Zerg
even
who shall
against
not be
Protoss,
named. The
because
Prodigy.
of,
The best
the
Zerg ever.
dropping potential, the airspace around that pocket naturals.
But
so large.
he also shall not be
I'm
named.
kind of happy that it's phasing out a bit, I guess. I think this is maybe the last tournament that has it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Wait,
It's good
actually,
for what it
let
was.
me
It made some
fix
interesting
it a
games,
bit.
but it, I
I
think it's
can-
a little
I
bit
can show you
flat.
I
guys
actually
the full
forgot
thing.
it was in the pool because in the early rounds of this tournament, it was banned in almost every single series.
Yeah, we're only seeing
Let's
it
remove
with
the
best
brain.
of 7s and best of 5s at this
Yeah.
point.
I you know how I feel. I hate 4-player maps. So.
You?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I hate 4-player maps. I just think it leaves too much randomness. I'm okay with 3-player maps, so 4-player maps is just too much randomness.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, they
Fixed
used to have
position
3 and 4 player
Fixed
maps,
position
but they
4-player maps are
removed them.
totally fine because it's basically like
Because,
a 2-player
like,
map with
CVC
two
gets,
different
like,
starting
very
locations that are
gambly.
equally balanced. So
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with maps like that.
Thank you back was
fun.
Legacy of the Void, yes.
yeah, it's a lot more fun, I think. It's bigger maps, bigger games, bigger potential, more space so the players can macro and go into this.
I don't
big
think
mechanical
Jadon
games.
was a better,
I
better
like to
Zerg
see a lot,
than
especially in this
live.
matchup.
It's
I don't
just
think
I
anybody
hated
was.
Frost so much.
Cyril, I don't
The-
know.
The randomness of scouting. Like
Well,
if you got
But
unlucky,
no
you could get
Korean
either
Zerg
really
was
ahead,
ever
or you
as
got a
good
good
as
scout, or really
live.
behind because you scouted late and got unlucky.
That was just a horrible map in general, I think.
That's true.
I didn't like that map.
Well, we do see the 3rd CC come up here, and Life does scout it.
Yeah, you
and he's
couldn't
also
double
gonna
lane
be in a
check.
pretty good position to scout the Banshee follow-up. In fact, he's already seen it. So he knows everything that's up.
He knows it's the exact same kind of build from Dream. He's like, okay, we're dealing with this.
Ah,
again.
it also used to say you need
Live did
24
go for a bit more of a
drones
greedy
on
build,
a
which
mineral
did
line
cost him the
instead of
first few
16
games, but
like
this was
now.
like
Full of
a
sci-fi.
super greedy build. So let's see if he can change it up and actually defend enough and get to those meters where he can do a lot of work.
Yeah.
My
He's,
god,
I think
guys.
just a lot of queen production is good.
Alien
Deal
Banshee.
for him. He's got to be careful of these Hellion run bys as well, because this is the time that
Life
this
was
dangerous
so
time
good
where we saw
against
him with
Hellions.
16 drones, and I think it was game 2.
Cloak on the way.
Like, he would surround
He's all
Hellions
stacked
everywhere
here,
on the
third
map.
base. Hellion sneaking around the left side. Nah, he's too close. He's too ready. Creep spread's good.
And he's looking for it.
He's looking for it, but there's
Do
Lings
you,
on the
do you
top
see how
left,
he,
too.
how he replaced
be
the
like a
Evo
meat
there? Because
grinder
it's like,
that's
maybe
further
he's going
right
for
now.
running into
Yeah,
natural and
unless you get, like, a
immediately
good shot
places
from
it
Link
somewhere
to get
else.
through. That'd be one possibility, but it's such a risk.
It's too risky. He's gonna just kind of step back. First Banshee's ready. A few more Hellions are being rallied across.
This map was really weird. I don't actually remember too much about the map Nimbus, but it looks really weird now that I
Where's
look
that
at it.
Bailey nest is the next question. We don't see
But
it
I
just
remember
yet. It
losing
makes
a
me
lot
little bit
here.
nervous.
That is somewhat alarming.
I mean, he can
Oak
get away with it. He's
Banshee.
going to put it down now in the pocket natural, but it's one thing to kind of be afraid of.
I
He does
remember
have
that
a
Dream
lot
is
of
going
swings
for
that he's
Mech
gonna
here.
help out.
They were in such a good position to defend that Banshee. He's also got the Spore ready to help as well, so the Banshee has to go a long
This was
way
at the
around
end of
Banshee.
Legacy of the at the end of Heart of the Swarm. After Swarm host nerf and
And we're seeing
Banshee
Mech.
twins.
We're
a whole
seeing
bunch of
Mech.
other changes. I
Oh,
don't actually
that.
remember all
Yeah,
of them. I
just
think
realized
Hydra's
two
got
factors in the
nerfed.
production tab, so we are going to see Mech. And Live, you know, he's got to identify this pretty quickly.
Their attack
That's
speed
one
got reduced,
danger
I
Zerg
think,
has
but I'm
if
not
they-
sure.
If they get the sort of the tech choice wrong.
But
of
the biggest
Terran,
nerf was
and
Swarm
he goes
host.
for like the anti-bio sort of build, and he runs into Mech. It's like, well, I'm just so far behind in upgrades, economy, and composition.
Because you don't have Ravagers, so you
Plus
can't
one's on the way,
bile
there's,
tanks
Mech
or
units
Look how many lings we
do
see.
fancy
Live
stuff like
actually wants
that.
to kill right
So you-
now. Look how many lings that is.
Oh,
That's
oh,
almost 60 lings, 58.
I mean, there's going to be Hellbats, which is the problem. Each one of these
How
Hellions
will he
can turn
deal
into
with
a
the
Hellbat at
Hellbats?
any time. So Live's going to have to really find the connection with these Banelings.
Going for
and
a
find
Ling
the surrounds
Bane
with these
bus.
Zerglings.
He's actually just going to try to walk in here.
Look
Goes
how
into
he's
the top
sending
left
one or
to buy
two
some more
links in
time,
at a
does plenty of
time
damage as well as that Spine Crawler. Spying him a lot of time, actually.
to keep the
Oh,
Hellbats
Candace
in
actually
the
happens to be
mineral
3 Hellions at the
and
top
the
of the ramp.
Spine
Four.
Crawler
And
Spine Crawler
actually,
range long.
well, I don't know about this.
Here we go.
I mean, he's going to lose all of his Banelings.
Good splitting.
Okay.
Dream was
Yeah,
also
he's
really
playing the
good.
Banshee
Like
here is
he's
really important.
playing
He's turned
against
into
the
Hellbats
best
and kill those
Terran there
Banelings.
was at that point in time.
Oh, the
I'm
SCV's
convinced
not
that,
helping out.
Oh, big hit.
They're making things worse. Banshee over here.
What are the
trying to work,
Hellbats
needs to
doing
target
there?
those Banelings,
17
though.
drones
Hellbats
down.
do more. Meanwhile, back at home, 17 drones have
Yikes.
gone down. A lot of larvae as well. This is actually going to turn out to be a pretty crazy game, Moonglade.
It's going to be pretty crazy, but
They're going full all in.
I think Dream holds this,
I
man.
think he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, what is he doing with those? He loses a few more SCVs. He's still okay. It's just there's too much answer for Lings.
Look at the bank on Dream as well. He should be actually making stuff right now. He doesn't
Dream is
supply
in a
block, he just
way better
too busy
position here.
microing the units he has, and Live
Yes,
is deflected
Force on the
completely.
way,
He's gonna have to
Hellbat,
transition.
Banshee.
He hasn't lost
Live
too
lost
much
so
in
many
Earth, so he can
drones.
transition, but still, it's a bit of a messy
Was
situation.
Neural
It was,
always possible
I mean,
borrowed?
at the end of the day,
I don't
fairly
think
even
so.
trade, and he did get a lot of
I
information.
think it was. I'm
about
not sure
what
if it
Dream is
was
doing
in
now. He
Out of
knows
the
he's up
Swarm
against Mech.
actually.
At the very least, he starts the range upgrades as
Hello,
Evo
Sam.
Chamber, and is starting to get prepared. 2 Thors on the way.
I don't think it's enough. I actually think Life is in a horrible position from here because we're going to see that whole Banshee, Thor, Hellbat sort of attack across the map momentarily.
Oh, he's going to get a Banshee here. Small victory.
Oh, the good
Yeah, I
old
mean,
Queen range,
can he
guys.
deal with
Give
that?
us
He's running
back.
his
Give
creep
us
like
back
a
the Queen
madman
range.
right now, down the middle of the map.
Or
It's gonna be
actually,
a hard one.
Does he even have a Roach Warren right
Queens
now?
have the
He does
same
have it.
range here
He's
as
got
they
roach
do
speed
right now. I
It's
think.
still got a long way to go though, and he doesn't really have the units on the map either. He's starting to make roaches now.
But
He doesn't
like
have a
it's
forward
a
base,
miracle.
which he
Like
should
if
have against the
live
mech player,
life at this
But
point in the
obviously he
game
scouted it
does
just a
not
little
look
too
good.
late, and that Zergling Baneling attack did not do the damage he needed it to do.
Yeah. And he's up against a ton of
Oh,
Hellbats.
Oh,
the
he's attacking
Banshee
the-
hold position.
Yeah, extractor there.
Baneling
Two Banner hits
sniped.
go off on those Hellbats, but it's not really going to matter back at home.
Good for infested Terran
Creep
X
spread
in
is really
places
good,
without
and
vision
that's
and
gonna give
get
him a lot of
vision.
advanced warning. It's always going to allow him to fight on creep when this push starts to happen.
Yeah, but you had to like
bigger issue,
you
like you said,
couldn't
is why
throw them
Creep
if you
is
didn't
four
already have
fours at a
vision. You
time,
had
that's how
to
much
like you
economy
could
can have. That's
use the
a
infested
bank
Terran X to get more
actually
vision.
spell here and
don't think you could.
Many Thors,
Could you
actually,
throw
you can
infested Terran egg?
kind of fight
Or
roaches
could
with
you?
them without even having too
Maybe
many
you're
siege
right.
tanks to support them.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe you're
absolutely.
right.
With this many Thors, you can fight anything, essentially, except Broodlords maybe. But
Sometimes you can fight rulers even
if you have
That
that
for
many,
Nani,
like
where he
if you're fighting
dominated late
against Sue and you
tots.
have like 10 3/3 Thors, sure, why not? But look
But,
at this army, look how big it's getting already.
This base has to be cancelled, and will he save the drone?
Yes.
Life
But,
cannot
I mean,
be
yeah,
happy
you
at
never
this
wanna be
point
neck
in
and
the
neck
game.
in supply or even behind in supply against the mech player. You don't want to be on the same economy as the mech player ever because the cost efficiency of them is just way too big. It is
Like
actually
they're
insane.
on
about to
short
have
rush
9 Thors
distance. Life only has roaches, same supply against a guy who's about to be at. The dude is about to have more force than Life has roaches.
He doesn't have enough time.
That's the kind of
He doesn't have
situation
enough
we
force.
find
Two is
ourselves
almost done
in
for this
here.
Mech army, which is at 1-1.
And he's even adding in a couple of tanks as well, you know, and that's just going to help out when dealing even more damage to these roaches.
Yeah,
There's not enough roaches, they don't have the upgrades.
It just adds a bunch of siege damage as well. When you get close to those buildings, you just set up your Thors in a good position where it's hard for the Zerg to attack into you, but you just keep hitting that siege damage on buildings. Any roaches that get too close, it makes it very difficult to engage. Bringing just the right amount of SCVs.
There's no answer for these Banshees. There isn't an answer for these guys either.
This is
And that's
such
the
a
problem we
scary
haven't even
push.
addressed
Like
yet, you know, he's got a
48
whole ton of
roaches
other problems.
versus this
He's going to
army,
make a
dude.
ton of banelings and go for like the money sort of hits on these Hellbats and Thors, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough. There's a lot of roaches. He's going to have to go for that perfect engagement though.
All right, well, he's going to try for it.
Watch
I mean,
this
he has a
engagement.
good arc with his roaches here.
Arc, the concave.
And he is getting a few of these Thors down.
Yeah.
The Banshees better getting pulled into
Wow,
spore
not too bad. He really
crawlers.
needed those siege tanks actually.
Where are they?
You might actually wipe everything out.
I don't understand where.
And
the
life
siege tanks are right here.
fucking rolled the
Yeah,
floor
that
They were
with
back
him.
at home.
I was
Maybe
like,
they
what
got
the fuck
stuck.
is this?
Maybe the depot was
Because
stuck or
Force are
something.
I'm not
Force
entirely
back then
sure.
did
He
have
left a
less
bunch of
armor,
units
but they
back
were
in
still
there.
really
Just
good
in case of a
units.
counterattack, maybe.
Yeah, and it's going to help out for this situation, sure.
And
but
Life was like on
still,
equal
that
equal
is pretty
supply,
awkward,
right?
you know, that
Like
shouldn't
he
have
used
happened the way
equal
it did.
supply
Maybe
roaches
he
to
should have
beat
waited for
Mech.
another, 25 supply. And
And
just
then he
brought
adds
those
the
tanks with
Swarm
him so he
Host.
can
And
have
back
that
then,
massive siege
Swarm Host
army.
didn't have Flying
But
Locusts.
fighting like that, like he did, bit of a throwaway.
The old
Maybe showing a
Swarm
little bit of,
Host.
inexperience
I would
with
I
using
would
Mech.
do anything
We
to
talked
get
about it a
the
lot earlier.
old
We
Swarm
very
Host
rarely
back.
see this guy ever use Mech. We didn't expect to see Mech from him today. I
That
expected to
was
see on
my
stage,
unit,
not on
dude.
this map.
Constant rallies. Is that a Locust upgrade?
And
Yes, it
that
is.
planetary can finish it just in the nick
It
of time.
extends
Just
the
like
lifespan of
Actually,
Locust.
maybe not. Just maybe barely not.
He's going to have to restart it.
Like,
but he
Stream
will
is
have
like,
enough
what the
there to
fuck?
Kind of deflected this time.
Well, this is
This
giving
is not how
Life
Zerg is
time
supposed
get
to
Swarm Host
work.
out. He needs to make sure he doesn't take a page out of Sue's book. When
Yeah,
he fights
Stefano
this
was the
game
one
Mech.
that actually
Because that
popularized
didn't
it.
go so well.
Snoot,
Yeah.
but Snoot used it really
He
well.
got that fourth base up finally, but I mean, he's got the same. He's got the fourth. the
Can we
same
have the
time
old
as
Swarm
Dream
Host
does.
back?
So there's
The
still an
constant
equal
rally of locusts
economy.
across the map.
Life is ahead in supply by 30, but it is a lot of roaches, and that gets a lot more inefficient in time.
Yeah, roaches are against big mech armies. They almost feel like they're made
Fire
of cardboard,
Cake,
not
yeah. I
actually
mean, Fire
big
Cake
Zerg
versus
terrorists.
Mana.
They just explode
Mana
really
also
fast.
kind of
Yeah,
fucked
they're
that game up. Like it,
essentially
he played that as stupid as he
a few
could.
more minutes. When the mech is maxed out and then that many tanks are there, you're not going to find much use for
Do you see
roaches
the old
unless you get
Locust?
blinding clouds off.
Pretty much like in 20-minute plus
Changeling
games
Scout.
in ZVT, no matter what the Terran's comp is, you're probably not going to want to have roaches against it. Well, he has a sensor tower up, which is going to help him against these roaches for the limited time left that these roaches are actually valuable.
This
It's also going to kind of give him
Did
a
you
little
watch
bit
Kick
of a
versus
tip, a little bit of a
Happy?
heads up on which
Oh.
way the locusts are being rallied. And he's going to see these roaches. And so it's very difficult for Life to actually
like
find,
the maps were so
a way
small
to
though.
sneak in here.
But you
Few
also
kills
like
with those,
back in
that wave of Swarm
in
Host,
Heart
though.
of the
That's,
Swarm you were
you know,
mining out a
small
lot
victory here
slower.
again.
Nowadays you mine out really
Happen.
fast. Back
You know,
then
he's
it
gonna
took
have
you a
more than
long
enough
time
tanks
to
soon
mine
enough,
out.
or he kind of does at this point, but they're really spread out to kill the Locust without any sort of damage being taken. Once these planetaries are up especially, you just won't take any more damage from them. But for now, he's going to lose a couple more tanks, I think.
The key is Ravens. He doesn't have very many yet. He's got one. He's about to have a second one. And Ravens are going to make these basically a moot point.
Life is trying really hard to harass because if Terran gets 4 bases up,
just makes
he has
this
enough
almost unable
money
to
to,
fire,
um,
or the Locust, I should say.
build his stream army
But as it is, I mean, they're
and
still able to
then
do
slowly
something here.
take the map.
Willing this army down tiny bit, little bit each time.
we are seeing
And
Terran's
I
trying to
think
move forward here.
the Ravens
attack
have
tank
the
is gonna
point
be at these
defense
planetaries of the
drones
building.
at this
If you can
point.
focus them down before they
So you
finish,
can
know,
throw down a point
that's gonna
defense
really open
drone,
up
and
this,
then
these
the
bases
locusts
for
do
this,
no more
formless
damage.
harassment.
It should, yeah, there we see.
PDD is starting to come into play here a little bit.
Like the locust wave does nothing anymore. Like live attacks with
just trying to
40
find a
supply
way
of
to get in there,
swarm
but not
host
quite
of
able to
locust,
make it
and
happen.
they do nothing because
Next
of a
step I
single
wanna
point
see
defense
is
drone.
Broodlords. I think that's the next step for him because the air army is only just beginning to be made for Dream.
Actually, I
No
did
Vikings
get
just
a
yet,
unit.
just Ravens. Be through in some Broodlords. at
Todd
this
was
point,
a
there
really
isn't
salty
much to defend
caster.
against him except for, you know,
He
the
used to
Ravens,
whine.
Seeker
He
missile,
was very
and a
toss.
couple of Thors.
Like Todd
Be a great
was
time for it.
competing and casting at the same time, and he was so biased.
I mean, it's gonna be
It,
great
it
against
was
this game to catch a group of Hellions out in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
it's
hard
good
to
for the
listen
later
to.
game, especially when there is that massive sort of.
It's like watching Nefania, listening to Nefania's
Like, once
cast.
they're all
You
bunched
know?
together, you get that
Just
brain pool.
constant
You
whine.
really kind of reset the army and make the game.
He
a
eventually
whole lot
got better,
easier.
but
At
when
this
he was
point,
still
though, I'm not sure if he's
competing,
gonna
it was
find
really
much with
bad.
it. We are seeing a lot of Vipers being added as well. He's going to be looking for those.
He would be like in the round of
blinds
8 of the tournament
Like,
and
just throwing away
then
really
lose, and then a Protoss player would play and he would just constantly complain how hard life is for the Protoss.
So it looks like some Hellions are actually going to sneak over here to this 5th base.
He made the supply
Might
exciting,
catch
yeah,
that investor. I
true
think
that.
investor might be here
But
for
I
a
mean,
bit
he
of defense,
eventually
but
like
was
kind
not
of
looking
grew
at
as
the
a
right moment.
caster, and I mean, I feel like
Burrow not done yet, so he can't burrow those
So
drones.
beautiful
The
to
Queens are
watch
actually
this guy
blocking
play.
Hellions out, but they're also blocking some drones there for just a second. And basically, this will eventually be cleaned up, but he's going to
look
lose
at
a
the
few of his
links,
links
dude,
here.
the life links.
Maybe some drones.
Well, they're like 3-3 Hellions against 1-2 Lings. So
Ah,
the
the
cost efficiency is real
back
on
when
these
you
Hellions,
actually
that's for
used to
sure.
build infestors
I think they
against
got like
Terran.
30 kills all up or something.
If they were in Hellbat
Now,
mode, that would have
you have to keep in mind, this is a Terran. Life is basically attacking with his entire supply, and he cannot make a dent.
Watching him,
Like
making
you're
sure he
seeing
knows where
this,
the
right?
tanks
The
are,
locusts
where
go in, and they all die before they can even do any damage at all. This was Heart of the Swarm CVC.
Late game Mech has,
And I was sitting here watching this, I'm like, yeah, I've been here. I've played this game. It does not work. Like, you cannot beat this mech.
about that. Nice fungal. Gonna have to start setting
And
up those
then,
tanks.
And they're not ready
and
yet.
then
Okay, they
I'm
do
like,
finally siege up here.
okay.
These investors
And
are gonna
then
get
I
some
watch
serious
this and I'm
fire
like,
basically
what the
around.
fuck is going on? He blinding clouds the entire Terran army. The entire army is fungled, blinding clouded, and it's still not enough.
That went a lot
This
better
is
for him than I
how-
thought it was gonna go.
How impossible the game is for Zerg to win. And I was like, okay, life, I mean, come on, like, you cannot win this game. He had some good moments, he was able to beat back the first push, but you cannot beat this. And then life is like, watch me. And I'm like, what?
He's rethinking this matchup for this versus Mech Man with invested
I'm like,
Terrans.
what?
And he's trying. I mean, one,
Like, he's actually
Terrans, man,
breaking
like,
Dream.
They don't get upgrades anymore,
don't.
so they bounce. Their attacks are bouncing off the armor.
Yeah, they nerfed
Four
infested
armored
Terrans.
Thor and
That was the
T-tanks,
best
you know
part.
what?
They
They're
nerfed
doing,
Swarm
like, 1
Host
damage a hit.
and infested Terrans in the
damage to
same
Thor.
patch.
You gotta shoot him 400
And
times.
this guy is
Actually,
making
like,
it work.
So
Like he's,
far pushed back with these Banshees now. He has to unburrow his swarm
you
hosts.
can tell how hard it is
And
for
these
Zerg
CCs
to
are
beat
starting to move
Terran.
across the map,
Back in
out of the map.
at the end of Heart of
Everything
the
with Life is
Swarm.
adding all these
Like
lanes into
seeing
this
how
tank.
hard this game is for life.
It's really.
But look at this!
It is.
Isn't
it's
it
pretty
beautiful?
interesting. He's
Isn't
not really
it
found much
beautiful to
traction with
watch?
it. If we saw
And he
more,
moves the Spore
combat
Crawler
being
to get
active,
to
I
the
think it would be
Banshee.
even less effective.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to
Yeah.
use the fact that there's not that many Hellbats in this.
And then look,
I
do you
like the
see,
idea of
like Dream
ulti
lands a
being added, especially
CC
for
somewhere
blinding
on the
clouds
map,
again.
life is
Really
like,
good
gotcha
blinding
bro.
clouds is
It's as if he's
back
playing
and
with map pack, you know?
And we are seeing a couple of
It's so
ultras out
crazy.
now. Gonna help out a little bit. Both sides getting maxed out at this point.
And the Dream is like,
They're both,
okay guys, we're
pretty
going
much
for another
maxed
one.
here. We
And
have a worker count of 59
if
only
th-
for Dream,
if you-
and that may even decrease
if this
down
is
to
not the best game of Heart of the Swarm
as,
You can go down
that
to,
was ever played
probably like
by a
60 at
Zerg
this
player,
point,
I
you
don't know
like,
what is.
There's
Yeah, we're watching the
not really
best
much
Zerg
difference
ever,
when you got
dude.
This many orbitals.
The best, like, do you see how hard CVT was back then, Cody?
I don't know.
It was like
Yeah,
impossible for
Pushing
Zerg
up,
to
but
win.
this is-
Well,
Like,
Life might be gearing up for something else.
But now
here.
here we
I'm gonna see
go,
the
here
blinding
it
clouds
goes
because that is
again,
some
right?
Pretty spread tanks.
Oh
Blinding Clouds infest the Terrans. So beautiful. It's so insane. Then he like mixes in an Ultra as well.
Are going to push this back. I feel like this is a bit too overzealous by Dream to come up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little too far.
He delayed the Locust Wave. He delayed the Locust Wave just long enough so he can reach a second Locust Wave, get there in time as well.
His way in. Up 50 supply at this point.
Zerg in the OP period and Railgan is still complaining Terran is too strong. Please.
Dream is actually running out of bases as well.
I mean, this is the end of Heart of the Swarm. When Locusts, when Swarmos were nerfed, when Infestors were nerfed, Ravens still had their PDD. Like this was peak Zerg.
I don't understand.
Peak Terran.
I
mean,
understand it
at this point, pretty much no Zerg was winning, except Live. Live somehow took these magical engagements that nobody else could.
And let this position go. I understand his concern if Life controls the high ground here, then his
yeah, back when Blinding Cloud was good though.
To try to force the issue over the orbital that can't even land. Okay, this base can't land. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it can't land.
And then once again, like the Blinding Clouds go down. The Ultralisk flank infest the Terrans everywhere, funneling.
Siege tanks here.
Oh man, he's taking so much damage. Thors are getting wrecked. Blinding
So
Cloud
good.
disappears, but still, it's not going to be enough. Well, actually, it might be enough now that he's retreated and regathered. Ultralisks are going down.
This is my favorite game of StarCraft that I've ever watched.
Makes the infested Terrans
Because
a little bit of a hard time finishing them off.
Oh man.
Like,
the man
I was convinced
I love
that
it. Finally, Life's going to get some revenge. Yeah, there is.
I was convinced it's not possible for Zerg to win. And Life gets in a shitty position and manages to push the Terran back anyways. And I mean, this is Stream, right? This is like... And then he manner hatches, right? You know, you need to end it in style. When you manner hatch your opponent and he moves away from the hatch, you know you're in a good position. And then Life is like, I smell something at the top left on the map. I think a base is about to land. Lings go there, and before he can even start morphing it, Lings arrive and start killing him.
Identify where those Ultralisks are.
That is so many Infestors, by the way. That is 21 Infestors. That is so funny.
Are you memeing? What the fuck are you talking about? It's true.
Well, there's another huge wave of locusts.
Like, this was the hardest part. Like, Zerg was very strong in Heart of the Swarm.
The Infestors are just gonna drop
but after the Swarm was nerfed, it got really hard for them to beat Mech.
The tanks are pretty spread out there this time, you know.
Because they nerfed Swarmos and infested Terrans.
But I don't
So
think actually enough tanks
it was actually really difficult. Like, these games were so hard to win for Zerg. I would never win a game against Terran. It's like playing against Protoss now. Like, I just cannot win unless they completely fuck up.
And this is starting to look like it might be in just a moment a free game.
Yeah, free game. Life
ties it up, and the crowd chants his name.
He's still not happy. Two more games.
Still not happy, but the crowd is cheering for him. They are chanting his name. And what a crazy way to deal with Mech. Very different than what we normally see. At least in 2015.
Yeah, that's a lot of... That was a fun sort of game to see. Using a good use of infested Terrans, and man, he had 21 infestors by the end there. Just constantly throwing free units at them, tying them up with Blinding Cloud, and trying to do the damage he can with infested Terrans and Locusts. Eventually whittles him down.
Ooh,
the best player, the best Zerg to ever touch the game, guys.
I know, I do not think we're going to see Mech after that game. But
playing the best CVT I've ever seen.
I think that was his one Mech game.